guess one of the first rule is it needs line work. Just clean lines, solid color, a real dramatic impact. The cool thing, one of the things I love about traditional the most is that when you look at it, your mind doesn't have to take a long time to process it. As soon as you see it, it's so clean, everything's so precise that your brain just instantly processes it and you're like, boom, that's a tiger. Boom, that's a ship. American traditional is extremely bold. It can look great on darker skin because you can put bold lines, really solid, heavy saturated color. And I think that's one thing with American traditional, or just traditional, traditional worldwide. Color tends to be way more saturated, so you put way more ink under the skin than a light shade on top. So if you put way more ink under the skin, that's a lot more ink that the body and sun has to break down. It's hard. Some people think that traditional is simple and it's easy, and they're like, oh, that's stupid stuff, that's super easy. I can't tell you how many times I've seen on TV shows where they're like having to do like a traditional tattoo on this TV show, and they're like, oh, that stuff's easy, and then they totally bomb and it's like the worst tattoo, and you're like, oh, you were talking a lot of fucking shit right there and you can't even do it, can you? I guess as far as what brought me to American traditional, it's been a really long road, because I started off doing fine line black and gray, and then in the 90s I did a lot of new school, and then it was kind of a slow, gradual, like I did this pencil that was like all windy and bendy, new school, and then over time that pencil eventually started straightening out, and I had seen fads come and go, and there was one that stayed, and that was traditional, and it was timeless. Like, you can look at someone's tattoo and be like, you got that in the 90s, oh, you got that in the early 2000s, or whatever, but you can look at a traditional tattoo and you kind of got to look to guess how old the tattoo is to see when maybe they got it. It's really nice to honor those that came before us, and it's not going anywhere. My style isn't necessarily totally traditional. I can do a straight up traditional tattoo, but I like to veer off. I like to add white highlights. I like to just dance it up a little bit. I'm not such a hardliner where I'm like, this is the way it has to be. This is it. This is, that's just not how I am. A lot of people say, oh, it's traditional, you don't use white. But if you look, there's photos of, really old tattoos that are just heavily saturated with white. I mean, I have white in my hand that's like over 12 years old, and it's just as bright as the day I got it. Traditional, I mean, even the word, it's upholding a tradition, right? But I would think that the forefathers of American tattooing were really innovators. They weren't stuck on, oh, this is the way I do it, this is the way it's going to always be. They wanted to innovate. I don't think it limits your creativity. I think, you can be as creative as you want to and still follow certain rules to traditional tattooing, or tattooing in general. I just really consider it tattooing. The machines are pretty much the same. I mean, there's a lot of innovations in tattoo machines, but the coil machine is tried and true. There's a lot of old machine builders that really came up with the really precise geometry of a coil machine, and then that's basically what all the coil machines are based off of. I love a coil machine, and I line with coil machines. There's just something that just like kind of resonates with my soul when I hear a tattoo machine, when I hear a coil machine running. Just kind of soothes me a little bit. Flash is multiple images painted on a sheet of paper to give the potential client an idea of what they could get tattooed. I've had,
family members of someone that's deceased come in with like their grandfather's, a picture of their grandfather with his tattoo, and he's sitting there in the couch or whatever, and I'm actually able to go back through my archives of Flash and find that exact design and give them the exact design that their grandfather had. And it's pretty awesome because, I mean, back in the day, pretty much you got a tattoo, you were picking it off the wall. That's just how it was. And that's like, it's the backbone of tattooing, of American tattooing, and or modern day tattooing. It's really kind of what has brought it to today. At my shop, Seven Swords in Philadelphia and Asheville, our walls are covered in Flash, but we try and have all original Flash painted by our tattooers there at the shops. And we try and also rotate it, and we try and encourage people to get Flash to honor that tradition, because Flash is fucking awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. People say, oh, only traditional is gonna hold up over time, and I don't know that that's necessarily true. I mean, I feel tattoos need outlines. It holds the ink together. It's a clear barrier to keep other ink from spreading, and there's reasons that it's there. I mean, for someone that's tattooed long enough, you're gonna see your old tattoos and you're gonna go, oh, well, that doesn't work. I'm gonna stop doing that. One of the main reasons that your standard traditional would be so simple was because before there was a Thermofax and stencil paper and thermocopiers, they would have to use acetates, and they would take this acetate film and etch in the drawing, and then they would sprinkle graphite on it or whatever, and they would press it to the skin, and if you rub that, it disappeared. So the drawing had to be so simple that you could probably outline it all without wiping. With the boom of Instagram and Facebook, it seems like tattooing might be getting a little bit watered down, a little bit inbred. You'll see trends. You'll see trends happen. You'll see someone post this girl head that was tattooed, and then all of a sudden you'll see like 50 other ones, a version of that pop up because someone saw that, oh, I really like they did that, and then they go to their tattooer, or the tattooer's like, oh, I like that, I want to do that. And so all the styles are like really start blending together, and it's I don't know that that's such a good thing. I feel maybe there might be some lost creativity, but in the end, if the client's happy and the tattooer's happy, and then it's a good day. You mentioned it before that people, getting, high fashion, having traditional tattoos, and this, this style of tattoo was kind of like the working class tattoo. This was definitely like a gritty back alley style working class tattoo. And now, for someone that saw tattooing in that era, to see it now with, a dude having a full traditional sleeve while he's sitting at the bar in his penny loafers and his pink Izod, chilling, having a martini, you're like, it kind of like twists your heart a little bit, but it's like everything evolves. So I try not to judge people on that. Honestly, traditional was not traditional. For the longest time, it was just a tattoo. And what people call today traditional was always just a tattoo. Like, that's a tattoo. And then I guess it was when the different styles started coming up, like the new school and the new tribalism movements and these other styles came up, that we needed something to differentiate that from the other styles. So that's when the separation happened. It's tradition, it's carrying on a tradition, while at the same time trying to evolve and still honor our forefathers. that came before us. So